This is Obi-Wan Kenobi Wednesday morning. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi. This morning let us play with the latest iteration of All Good One's easy meditation. If you have the courage, think back to junior high when we all had to attend physical education or PE, where an overweight man with a pot belly and a whistle would demand that first we warm up, then we would exercise, then we would cool down. We're going to follow a similar pattern. The view of reality that supports letting go is the first fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Therefore, we're going to begin with Mahayoga's Wisdom Warm-Up. So let us begin by chanting a disclaimer. Rather than indulge or controlling tendencies with all follies of active visualization, emotion, magic, and belief, we could just recite these wise words in harmony with our breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. Let us therefore sidestep the rigidity that confuses metaphors for statements literal, and relax into the flexibility that savors chance explaining metaphors as similes. Okay, so the Buddha was keen on organizing reality into the categories of the four bases of mindfulness: the circumstantial, the physical, the interpersonal, and the mental. We're going to begin with the circumstantial. Together. May we see how all circumstances or lots could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this body or form. So, we're using the verb melt as a metaphor of impermanence and the verb absorb as a metaphor of interdependence. And just as some foresters might fight fire with fire, we're going to use self-centeredness to transcend self-centeredness. So we're going to take all these words and coalesce them into just 6 syllables that we're going to divide between our inhalation and our exhalation. We switch gears now to the physical. Together. May we feel how all bodies or forms could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this communicational speech. We switch gears now from the physical to the interpersonal. Together. May we hear how all interpersonal speech could be as impermanent and interdependent as if it could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this mind. We switch gears now from the interpersonal to the mental. Please chant with me. May we feel how all perceiving, emoting, intending, thinking, recalling, and imagining minds could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into a vast empty void. Now, we're going to explore what is meant by the metaphor. We're going to reverse engineer the metaphor of an empty void. Like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although tantalizing to the eye, could be not graspable to the hand. Oh, one moment, please bear with me. Let's hit insert and pictures. Oh, better yet, cancel. And we do a bit of the old delete Rooney. And now we're going to hit pictures and R and rainbow disk and select. We're going to adjust this bad boy, make it fit. That's what she said. Okay, here we go. We now turn to the seventh and eighth folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path, where we will practice Hatha Yoga's mindfulness and meditation after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I've spent about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that you will not have to. Welcome, my friends, to meditate like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. The most efficient way to authentically practice mindfulness is to silently, mentally, and passively recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. Doing so induces our cerebral cortex to cooperate with our sympathetic nervous system. This sympathetic nervous system is ensconced within the middle third of our spinal cord and has evolved to help us perceive in a very specific way, to help us perceive vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. How important is vulnerability? Well, it is symbolized for us by the nudity of this image of the two Dzogchen yogis sporting in tantric union. In other words, their nudity reminds us of the vulnerability crucial to mindfulness. What is it that we perceive exactly? We perceive sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, and the like. We perceive emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. What are we to do with all that stuff? For it could feel a trifle overwhelming. And the answer is we meditate. And the most efficient way to authentically meditate is quite simple. Silently, mentally, and passively recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. Doing so induces our cerebral cortex to cooperate with our parasympathetic nervous system, which is ensconced within both the lower third as well as the upper third of that same spinal cord. This parasympathetic nervous system has evolved to help us to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release. Well, we've talked about Maha Yoga and Hatha Yoga, but what about the Anu Yoga of energy work. Simple. As we meditate together, it would be quite lovely if we gathered 4 collections of 8 sets of 12 rounds. Doing so, we will use the creases of our right hand, the creases of our left hand, the knuckles of our right hand to work with that gesture-oriented energy work. Now, this could seem overwhelming, but we're going to break it down. If it's still difficult, take solace in this. That if you come to these live streams once every 12 hours, then within a week or two, you'll master the whole Megillah. So let's begin with counting 12 rounds on our right hand. We have to ask the question, hey, what's a round? A round is just 1 inhalation and 1 exhalation. So during our inhalation, while silently and mentally reciting the demonstrative pronoun this, we can advance the tip of our right thumb, beginning with our right little finger and making our way to our right index finger. So while silently and mentally reciting this ease in harmony with our breathing, please do the Buddhist hand jive along with me simultaneously. Well, that's great. Now we know how to count 12 sets, but that just takes a minute or so. So how are we going to use this as a substitute for our timers? Because let's face it, phones run out of charge, phones get broken, phones get stolen, phones get lost, and sometimes confiscated by men in polyester with big guns and small penises. So counting on our fingers is a wonderful alternative, so that we can always practice regardless of where we may be. So what we're going to do now is use our left hand to count sets, and we can begin with our first set of 12 repetitions, our second set of 12 rounds, our third set of 12 rounds, our fourth set, our fifth set, our sixth set, our seventh set, our eighth set of 12 rounds. But what about the collections? We'll gather our first collection of 8 sets of 12 rounds by paying careful attention to the great knuckle at the base of our right little finger, and by setting it upon the tip of the left little finger and resting these 2 hands palms up in our lap, while our thumbs happily count creases. So, quick like a bunny, I'm going to tap a button 9. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever lower abdomen we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a syllable ah, comprised only of green light. We now we now set the great knuckle at the base of our right ring finger upon the tip of our left ring finger in our lap. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever navel region we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a syllable trom comprised only of gold light. Remember, our primary practice is this ease. Let us rest the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger upon the tip of our left middle finger in our lap. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever heart we might have noticed during our previous inhalation can now begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a syllable balloon comprised only of blue light. Remember, our primary practice is that of perception and release in harmony with our inhalations recitation of this and our exhalations recitation of ease. Recitation silent and mental and passive. Returning to Mudra Anuyoga's energy work, we now rest the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger and set it upon the tip of our left index finger in our lap. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever scalp or crown region we might have noticed during our inhalation can now begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a syllable comprised only of light. Allow me to remind you that our main practice, however, is Hatha Yoga. The most efficient way to authentically practice mindfulness is to silently, mentally, and passively recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. Doing so induces the cerebral cortex to cooperate with the sympathetic nervous system ensconced within the middle third of our spinal cord. This sympathetic nervous system has evolved to help us perceive vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. Perceive what? Perceive sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, and the like, including emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. Well, that could be overwhelming. What are we to do with such a thing? We are to meditate. But how does that work? The most efficient way to authentically meditate is to silently, mentally, and passively recite the one-syllable verb ease during our exhalation. Doing so induces the same cerebral cortex to cooperate this time with our parasympathetic nervous system, ensconced within both the lower third as well as the upper third of that same spinal cord. This parasympathetic nervous system has evolved to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release, which reminds us of the Tibetan phrase to describe meditation as relaxing into non-graspable nature of mind. The translucence of this painting reminds us of relaxing into that nature of mind. That as we relax into our exhalation, whatever we noticed during our previous inhalation could feel less solid, less permanent, less defining. But this is all fleeting, because by the next in-breath, everything seems solid, permanent, and defining again. And that's the comedy of life. We now switch gears from silent meditation to mantra meditation. So let us review the meaning of the 12-syllable mantra. A meaning. There are many explanations. This is just mine. I invoke the teachers Om action, not meditation, and Hungwu that the Benza Tantric. Ooh, I forgot the accent. Guru teaches Pema enlightenment and siddhi abilities whom may be mastered by all. The opposite of elitism. So it's super simple. During the inhalation, we could silently and mentally recite, noticing this. What's this? This is whatever pierces our sphere of perception. Be it a sight, a sound, a sensation, a flavor, a scent, or the like. Be it an emotion, an intention, a thought, a memory, or an imagining. Whatever we notice is this, whether it is external or internal, physical or mental, pleasurable or painful, interesting or boring, glorious or grotesque. During our exhalation, we physically relax as best we can while striving to chant this 12-syllable mantra 3 times per breath. And if this is your first time hanging out with me or hunging out with me, then by all means, please give yourself permission to have a learning curve. So we're going to begin by resting all the knuckles upon all the fingertips in our lap. Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Masiri Hung. 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 And now we return to resting the great knuckle of the base of our right index finger upon the tip of our left index finger. Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Masiri Hung. 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 Let us now rest the great knuckle of the base of our right middle finger upon the tip of our left middle finger. Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Masiri Hung. 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 Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri 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 Hung. Let us rest the great knuckle at the base of our right ring finger upon the tip of our left ring finger in our lap. Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung. 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 Let us now rest the great knuckle at the base of our right little finger upon the tip of our left little finger in our lap. Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung. 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 Loving kindness comprises 50% of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Therefore, we now turn to Mahayoga's compassionate cool down, just like performing savasana at the end of a yoga class. Rather than indulge our controlling tendencies with the follies of active visualization, emotion, magic, and belief, we could just recite these kind words in harmony with our breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. Let us therefore accept the rigidity that confuses metaphors for statements literal, and relax into the flexibility that savors that chance explaining metaphors as similes. Together. Now, what follows is not a prayer as much as simply using words to guide our intention. May all minds of all beings know be as peacefully enlightened as thee. Now, let's have some fun with this for a second. I'm going to turn. Please bear with me. Okay, the screen's going to go berserk for a moment, but I will tend to it. Control G 32. Okay. Actually correct everything. May all minds of all beings now be as peaceful and enlightened as the mind of a real or imagined Buddha symbolized by a tikle one sort of musid or bija mantra. Let us rest the great knuckle of our right little finger upon the tip of our left little finger. Om mani me me yung, 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 om mani me me yung. Om mani me me yung, 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 om mani me me yung. The mental morality of kind intention is the second fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. May all relationships or speech of all beings now be as joyfully loving as a real or imagined Buddha's speech symbolized by a multisyllabic mantra. Let us rest the great knuckle at the base of our right ring finger upon the tip of our left ring finger in our lap. Om mani me me yung, 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 om mani me me yung. Om mani me me yung, 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 om mani me me yung. The interpersonal morality of kind communication is the third fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. May all bodies or forms of all beings now enjoy the beautiful health represented by Buddha's statuary, depicting the blissful body of a real or imagined Yudam and archetype of enlightenment such as Chenrezig. Let us rest the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger upon the tip of our left middle finger. Om mani me me yung, 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 oh 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 mani me me yung. The physical morality of kind conduct is the fourth fold of the Buddha's eightfold path. May all circumstances or lots of all beings know have the same fortune or boon as a Buddha's real or imagined paradise pure land of Avanti. Om mani me me yung, om mani me me yung, om mani me me yung. Oops, I forgot to tell you. Let us rest the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger upon the tip of our left index finger. There we go. Om mani me me yung, 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 om mani me me yung. Om mani me me yung, 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 om mani me me yung. Om mani me me yung, 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 om mani me me yung. Om mani me me yung, 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 om mani me me yung. The circumstantial morality of kind commerce is the fifth fold of the Buddha's eightfold path. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 10.25 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's evening meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.